Hello everyone in Oneness, thank you so much for watching this video. I am Jessica Delmar, and in this video we want to talk about sort of these activations going on right now having to do with this realm of alchemy and earth magic. We've spoken about the realms of Gaia in a past video series. I'll put that link below, but basically the realms of Gaia holding this sort of magical space or magical realm that is connected to Earth Gaia in all of these sort of fantastical ways that we've known of in fairy tales and stuff like that, but it all exists within the energy realms of Gaia, which are the energy bodies of Gaia. In this state of transition and ascension, what's happening is all of that energy is sort of filtering into the physical realm that we exist within in our physical experience. So in 3D, it was very kind of separate. We had our physical experience and there was the energetic realms of Gaia. If you think of your physical form, your physical body, and your energetic body, your aura, you can think of it as, in 3D, it's very kind of separate in our consciousness and in our mind. However, moving into 5D and on the ascension path, it is about merging everything together as one. It's about not holding the separation between our physical form and our energetic form, but understanding how they co-create together and they work together and they merge together in oneness. It is not separate. It is one and the same, and they co-create. And so same thing is happening on the planetary scale. Instead of seeing the physical form of Gaia being separate from the energetic forms and realms of Gaia, it's now sort of seeping together in the greater stew or the greater soup of things. Everything is coming together in wholeness and oneness. It is a co-creation between everything, and that includes physical as well as non-physical. So the energy of the realms of Gaia, the non-physical energetic bodies of Gaia, is very much seeping onto the planet and seeping into our consciousness. So also what we spoke about in the Realms of Gaia video series is how that divine feminine and the divine masculine and the divine Christ consciousness or oneness consciousness energy very much being held in the Realms of Gaia space. It was sort of like a protection, if you will. It was being protected there because in the physical form, in the physical realm or the physical space upon Gaia, these energies were very much open, but they were utilized in more destructive ways versus being held in another form in the realms of Gaia, the same creation energies, feminine, masculine, and Christ consciousness energy, oneness consciousness, being held safe there in order to open up into the physical realm, the physical form in perfect timing and due timing in its pure creation sense, not necessarily the physical destructive sense, which very much was manifested and played with in terms of manipulation and illusion especially. So now we're opening more to the truthful energy of those creation energies, the feminine, masculine, and Christ consciousness or oneness consciousness energy. And with the opening of all of that energy, especially, we spoke about the trilogy energy happening, which all of that coming in from the realms of Gaia. I'll put that video series link below as well. But that's all open. That is the feminine, the masculine, and its divine creation aspects, as well as the Christ consciousness energy opening up into our collective consciousness and therefore seeping into our individual consciousnesses as well. Or it could also be vice versa because we're co-creating as individuals as well as with the collective consciousness. But point being is that this divine trilogy energy is opening in and within many of us, especially those on the ascension path and those of us who can match the frequency of those creation energies in its creative, pure state, which is of higher vibration than those creation energies existing in the physical space that is of lower vibration, more destructive frequency. So what's going on is that there is this intense activation happening right now. We spoke about in an earlier video about what's going on right now until the end of the year, and how we're in these individual cocoons, basically. We're each kind of nurturing our own energy bodies. We're each nurturing our own physical space and our own place in our ascension journey as individuals. And so very much what it was showing me is we're each kind of in our own cocoon, in our own eggshell. And the point of nurturing that energy is to really strengthen the energy within you, because it's almost like you are moving from that caterpillar into the butterfly state. But in order to do so, a complete physical transformation has to happen for that caterpillar. And so the same thing is going on within each of us as individuals. And that's why it's really important right now to nurture the space that you're in and really be paying careful attention to what's going on in your energetic and physical states of awareness, whether it's in your mind, your heart, etc., what's playing out for you in your physical experiences, what you're feeling emotionally, energetically, what you're connecting to, what is in your awareness. This is because you're in that cocooning state. And so whatever you're experiencing, feeling, all of that is sort of strengthening within you, activating more within you. Because as you offer energy, what it's doing is it's bouncing off of the walls of your cocoon or your eggshell and coming right back to you. It is so you are in this state of like nourishing yourself with whatever energy you're putting out. It's coming right back to you. And this is powerful if you're nourishing yourself with higher vibrational energy. But on the other side, if you're emitting lower vibrational energy as well, it's also bringing that right back to you in that cycle of energy. And so you're nourishing yourself with whatever you're putting out. And it could be higher vibrational energy or lower vibrational energy. It doesn't matter, because it's all creation energy, and whatever you're meant to experience, again, there's no wrong, there's no right. It's just that you're moving you're moving wherever you're meant to be moving in terms of your experience and what you're meant to be experiencing. And this also contributes a lot to the split between 3D and 5D as well, because those who are meant to go further down the 3D path will continue cycling that energy of lower vibration and feeding 3D things. And those who are meant to go down the 5D path will begin opening that nourishment of higher vibrational frequency within their cocoon and start spinning out of those lower vibrational 3D experiences and into higher vibrational 5D experiences. So they're kind of showing me right now how there's been a lot of energy work happening this year of 2019. And we've spoken before about 2020 being a very alignment year for those who are able to match the frequency of 2020 in its alignment year. However, because alignment is of higher vibration and frequency, for those who do match that frequency, you'll be riding the wave of that alignment and balance and moving with the flow of things, and really kind of it's kind of like a slide right into sort of that more of a 5D state. Of course, there's still going to be things that are happening to get further and further into 5D. But right now, kind of focusing on that 2020 year, it is one of alignment in order for you to understand what alignment and balance is. If you're able to align and resonate at that frequency, because then it establishes that empowerment of 5D within you, meaning that even if things that are not in alignment, even if things that, maybe, for example, destructive things come into your awareness, but you're able to hold that 5D alignment within you, then you're able to navigate the worldly situations and experiences that come into your reality with the ease and flow of holding that 5D inner empowerment. So 2020 is very much about establishing that inner empowerment within you so that you understand what ease, flow, alignment to 5D especially feels like, so that you can hold that within you in order to navigate the world around you as the world begins shifting and changing physically to move into a physical 5D experience and reality. However, 2020 on the other end of the stick, for those who are not in alignment with those high frequency balanced energies of 2020, if you're not there yet, then you are going to be pushed there in extreme ways, because everything is about vibrational resonance, harmonic resonance at this point. And this is looking at this is looking from a perspective of a greater scale, because if we look on a smaller scale, for example, if there is a high vibrational person in a room and a low vibrational person in a room, the two frequencies cannot align. There is a mismatch in frequency. There's a mismatch in harmonic resonance. And so someone holding high vibration next to someone holding low vibration, there's going to have to be a give and take there. Something's going to have to change in order for those two people to coexist together in the same space. Most times, high vibration trumps low vibration, love over fear. And so the person in the lower vibration, something's going to shift and change within their energetic vibration to move them into a different place to get more in alignment with the person who holds higher vibration, if that makes sense. It could be a nonverbal thing between the two of them, just a shift of energy in the room. Or it could be a verbal thing, meaning if that person of higher vibration speaks to the person of lower vibration and kind of gets them into a space of higher vibration. Whatever it is, there has to be some sort of give and take for the energies to kind of equal out, or for something to shift with that lower vibrational space, because it's much like a dark space. The darkness cannot exist when the light shines up against it. And so that's happening very much on a global scale when you look at 2020 as that greater macro space. The energetic vibration of 2020 is this huge sort of vortex of energy that is getting people, really, if you're close to that alignment, it's going to sweep you right on into that energetic alignment, that balanced energy of 2020. But for those who are not, then you're going to either, somehow you're going to get swept up into it, but it's going to be a harder or a more dramatic shift for you, because if you're further away from that frequency, then there's a lot of space to make up for in you being swept up into that vortex of 2020 alignment. More so, it's the frequency range. If you think of, if you're farther away from a certain frequency, then you have a farther journey towards that frequency to get swept up into it. If you're closer in alignment to it, then your journey to be swept up into that frequency will be a shorter distance. It'll be an easier flow into that frequency. And so, or on the other end, if you're going to resist the sweeping up into that frequency of alignment and ease and flow of 2020, balance energy, then it's going to be a very difficult time for you, because you're basically resisting, you're walking against the wind, you are trying to fight against, and that's going to create more resistance for you. And the way that resistance manifests for you is going to be in a lot of hurdles, in a lot of blocked ways. It's basically your divine inner guidance saying, no, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way, you're going the wrong way, in order to make you turn around and really be swept up into that greater energy flow, which is 2020's alignment energy. But there are going to be people who are going to resist that energy, or that sweeping of energy, because that just means that that's the experience that they were meant to experience. Again, we're not saying that 2020 is going to be this perfect year of alignment and balance and ease and flow. It definitely could be for many people, but the point of 2020 is to establish that inner empowerment, that inner balance within you, so that no matter what manifests in your physical reality, whether good or bad, positive or negative, creative or destructive, you're going to be able to navigate these different hurdles in a more balanced state. You're going to have that pillar of light, balance, and inner empowerment that is basically tethering you to 5D, so that that 5D tether can move you through these obstacles in order to fully pull you into 5D. It's like there's 5D. If you think of an endpoint, although there is no endpoint, it's just kind of like in putting into perspective. But between that endpoint and where you are right now, between it is going to be some obstacles. You can either move through these obstacles with resistance and with fighting the obstacles along the way, which is a very 3D approach. And in that 3D approach, you get caught up in the obstacles, so it prevents you from really moving past obstacles and keep on moving forward. Versus 2020, which is establishing that alignment and balance and inner empowerment in 5D within you, that creates the tether to 5D, so that it's kind of like a lifeline that will continue pulling you through and around and navigating through the hurdles and obstacles that are in between you and that endpoint of 5D, if that makes sense. So that you're moving through it and you're easing and you're flowing and you're not getting caught up in the obstacles and the hurdles and you're not getting drowned by them, but you're able to move forward one step at a time, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward, keep on moving forward in a much more ease and flow state rather than a state of resistance. The reason why 2020 offers this ability to resonate with the vibration of that harmony, balance, more like divine harmony, divine balance, divine inner empowerment, connecting you to 5D or tethering you to 5D, is because of the work on a greater scale that has been happening here in 2019. The trilogy energy, the opening of divine masculine, divine feminine, Christ consciousness, oneness consciousness energy, basically open energy within the collective, within the planetary, I'm going to say ether, if you will, that you as an individual on your ascension journey has been able to grab hold of. It's been open for the taking, and for those of you doing the work, you've been grabbing hold of those opportunities to connect to these divine creation energies. So now it's harnessed and it's kind of held within your space, within your cocoon, for you to nurture with, for you to nurture yourself with, for you to strengthen yourself with, for you to really kind of open into or hold. That trilogy energy was the energy that is meant to kind of nourish you in this space of that cocoon space as you transition from that caterpillar into the butterfly. And that's why the trilogy energy was important and powerful in opening at this time, because it's aiding, it's feeding, it's the life force energy. It is that umbilical cord to feed us now while we're in these cocoons in order to transition us into what's next, especially into more of a 5D form, energetic form, physical form, etc. So again, this life force energy is not coming from the life force energy that exists within the 3D realm. That energy is very much sort of tainted with illusion and manipulation and lower vibration. So we're receiving our nourishment from a higher vibrational life force energy that exists, that opened up onto the planet from that realm. It was being kept safe within the realms of Gaia, and now open for the taking for us to utilize and receive nourishment from. While we're in these cocoons, another thing is that we spoke about the 5D meridian system opening up. This is all taking place within the cocoon state. We're shifting dramatically. The caterpillar is shifting into the butterfly, and this includes physical, energetic shifts and changes. And so our whole energetic system is changing. The crystalline DNA structure, the cellular structure is all shifting and changing. The meridian points are lighting up where it didn't light up before. We have access to more things. It's like if you look at the brain in 3D, we only had access to a small percentage of the brain, versus now more points are lighting up for us to have access to more points. not only within the brain and the mind, but within the entire physical form. And this opens up our connection, the points that we're connected with between the physical and the non-physical soul aspect of us. More so, it's like showing me an open crown where you're able to receive more divine flow of energy, more light energy, more source flow of energy. But even though the crown is open, all of this energy is opening from within. It's not an external thing. It's more like, if it is an external thing, it's like your ability to receive it comes from within. And in a 3D form, there is a lot of the closed points, a lot of the blocked meridians, a lot of, again, the mind not being able to utilize the entire mind, very, very closed. So we weren't able to receive all of this divine life force energy that was being offered to us. But now that things are opening up more and more, we're able to receive more and more, and that just strengthens really that core, that energy within that connects us to our divine inner being. So going back, there is a balancing of all of the trilogy energy, divine feminine, divine masculine, and Christ consciousness energy, which is just oneness consciousness in body. They're showing me there is a balance, but it's like beneath the surface, if you will. It's beneath the surface. So what we see physically manifested in our current reality is energy that has already, it's like old energy, basically. Old energy is physically manifested right now for us to see, while the balanced energy is queued up. It's queued up to manifest in perfect timing as soon as all of this old energy is cleared. But, just like manifestation, you have to align, you align in the vortex first, you align vibrationally first, and then you witness the manifestation of that alignment in perfect timing. And so the same thing is happening, that the balance of energy is already here, but it's queued up. It's being queued up to open up into a physical experience. And what has to happen for us to open that alignment or that balanced energy into a physical experience is now to bring that alignment within us as individuals. So really it's about working towards spinning out of the 3D vibration and frequency and into a higher vibrational 5D frequency. So a lot of this goes back into the whole things that we've been taught about manifestation and shifting your vibration from lower vibration into higher vibration. But now we're shifting our vibration from 3D vibration into 5D vibration. And as we shift our individual vibrations from 3D into 5D, then we begin to pull that on a greater macro scale, that life force energy that is balanced, that is in the queue. We begin to pull that into our physical manifestations to create in our realities, to open 5D realities for us. And then as we do that as individuals, then it begins to open more and more within the collective as more and more people are able to open that 5D or have access to that 5D queued up energy of balanced trilogy energy. As we begin pulling that more and more into our individual experiences, it adds to the greater collective, and then adds to the greater collective consciousness, moving on an even greater scale, the entire collective, or, whoever's meant to move into 5D, and open that physical experience more and more. It just spreads. Basically, it spreads from an individual into a greater group, into greater, until it encompasses the entire planet. But we're still in those beginning stages. Again, we're still in the cocoon, so I kind of went off into kind of seeing a bit further out. But point being is we're in the cocoon, the beginning stages, where we're shifting the vibration from 3D into 5D. So this is really something that we need to work with at this time to really nourish. Again, part of this nourishment state. And also as we move into 2020, it's about being conscious and aware of everything that you feel is 3D that comes up for you, and spinning out of that as it comes up for you and making those conscious aware decisions to shift your vibration, to shift the energy essentially as those 3D things comes up for you, shifting it into 5D perspective. And we'll talk a little bit more about sort of the steps of shifting from 3D into 5D in the next video, I think. But right now, what wanted to come through for this video especially is this opening of this field. It's like an open field to play with alchemy and earth magic, which is really exciting. In particular, a lot at this time, especially, a strengthening of when it comes to health, especially. So medicine power card coming through. Really kind of at the, there's a lot of different pillars of society that needs shifting and changing out of 3D and into 5D. We've spoken all about the different structures and organizations that need to break down and be built up again into 5D structures. But right now, what's coming through strongly is this sort of medicine space, the healthcare space, the way that we take care of our bodies. I think it's because we're in this cocooning state, the nurturing card. We need to nurture who we are as individuals. We have to nurture ourselves first. We have to take care of ourselves first, and that means mind, body, spirit. It means physical, non-physical energy. It means our mental state. It means our emotional state. It means our spiritual state, everything within us as a core. And as we take care of us and find wholeness within us as individuals, then it can extend to other branches and organizations and structures of society, such as finance and technology and science and all, like a whole, there are so many different structures that are going to shift from 3D into 5D. But right now, because healthcare very much focuses within us as individuals and taking care of the self and the body, then I think that's almost the first thing that might be on the list in terms of shifts and changes. But basically what it was showing me is for those light workers who have been doing the work and who are now in this precious, nourishing and nurturing space in your cocoon, so that you can open up into 2020 in more of the harmonic resonance with the vibration of 2020. Those of you who are in this space, what's happening is you are very strongly connecting to other aspects of you that are going to help you nurture and nourish your space, your cocoon, your eggshell, whatever you can envision yourself being in this nurturing state. This, because we all have many different aspects, and many different aspects of us exist in many different frequencies, vibrations, dimensions, realms, planets, whatever that you can think of. There are many different aspects of us, including right here in our physical reality. But point being is that you, in your greater connection to your divine inner being, you have within that connection, you have access to an entire library that there are many different layers of this greater library, otherwise known as the Akashic Records or the living library, your soul memory, whatever you want to call it. There are many different layers. So it's like there's layers of the library that are closer to you, meaning more relevant to you and your physical experience here in this lifetime. It can also widen into a wider layer, which includes maybe past life information and knowledge. It can widen into other greater layers of connecting into many other aspects of you, access to other areas of knowledge that you hold that are not just here within your physical form, but within many other aspects of you, held within many other dimensions, layers, frequencies, vibrations, planets, galaxies, universes, whatever. It can keep, the layers of the library can keep opening up into infinity, because you, in your, going back to what we were talking about in the Meridian series, everything filters back through you, which is your seed is simply source itself, and everything feeds back into that source itself in order to continue creating in this infinity loop. And everything is a projection of each of these many different layers, just projection after projection after projection. And so your ability, it's like moving into 5D is one step closer into moving into more understanding more of this oneness consciousness. But point being is that it's like when you're able to access even just a little bit of oneness consciousness, then you're able to understand how this loop, this infinity loop sort of exists, and your consciousness in oneness consciousness can have access to all the different, whatever in that infinity loop all the way back to source, and all in all of these different layers of projections, you can have access to everything. Maybe not all at once, because your physical mind and brain can only handle so much at once, but you're going to have access to what you need at any certain time in your now moment. And that's why moving into this balanced state is so important, because neutrality, balance, is a doorway into connecting and opening up oneness consciousness, or that vortex of oneness, so that you can step into that oneness consciousness space and receive all this information that desires to come through you and to be realized by you in your now moment experience. And all of this information is not necessarily going to come from only your physical experience and your physical mind, but it's going to come from the many other different minds that you hold in your greater loop of all that is and all that you are, that stems back into source itself. And that includes many, many other different consciousnesses, many other different aspects, so much knowledge, so much experience that also may not just be from your direct greater energetic form, but could be from, everyone else's as well, because we're all connected together in oneness. But reeling it back in, for those of you who are doing the work, it's like your other aspects, you're receiving glimpses, and you're receiving all of this information that you're meant to know right now. So in your cocooning state, if you're moving through anything, any sort of healing or anything that needs to come into alignment for you to establish more balance within your physical and non-physical, then you're going to be receiving the information. It's going to come filtering through you. And so a lot of it actually is coming through Lemuria and Atlantis at this time. Particularly a lot of Lemurian energy, at least from what I'm tapping into. It could just be that those who are listening are very much connected to the Lemurian energy. Or it's just at this time in the nourishment cycle that Lemurian heart-based energy is being integrated within people first, and then the mind-based, more knowledge-based nourishment is going to come in after. But regardless, you're going to go through a period of the both the heart and the mind nourishment that comes from a more divine source, the yin and the yang. It's also, they're saying it's a fun time to play in right now, because it's going to add to your ability to receive the nourishment, meaning play with all of these different things that come into your awareness, whether it's ideas or thought forms or things that you feel guided to experience or go through or go to, or people you're guided to meet or talk to or whatever. Play with this sort of open field, because it is a field of magic. It is a field of playing with earth magic and playing with alchemy in an energetic sense, because we're shifting energy. You may not necessarily see it in the physical as physical manifestations of those energetic shifts and changes, but we're working with the energy. We're working with energy. We're working with magic. We're working with make-believe, basically. And then the physical manifestations will take place in perfect timing. It's queuing up for us right now. They're saying, for example, Or taking myself, for example. Lately, I've been working really in this realm. What I've been, I feel called to work along my path, I've felt called to work with a lot of different healing tools and experiences and situations and stuff like that. I'm a very open person and open to whatever comes my way. But right now, I'm very much in this space of working with earth oils, essential oils, in terms of helping to heal the body in especially energetic and emotional ways, which will then physically manifest in perfect timing. So I've been working with these earth oil blends and bringing forward information completely intuitively with different plants and parts of plants that I may not have the oils in front of me to smell and whatnot, but I'm completely working in energy. I'm completely working through my intuitive guidance of certain blends coming together to create or to help activate a certain thing within you. And I basically spent an entire day bringing forward all of that intuitive guidance and information regarding creating certain blends to bring forward and share with you. And then when I came out of it, I realized that as I was moving through it and bringing through the information and deciding how many drops of this and this and this should work together, without even smelling it in front of me, without even having it physically in front of me, I realized when I was on the other side of it, when I came out of it, that in working through it, I was tapping into not here in this physical mind space, but I was receiving that information from this greater aspect of me that was very Lemurian based. So it was almost as if I was being transported back into that Lemurian aspect and then working from that space and putting all of these recipes and ingredients together, earth oils together, in almost like a potion sense, but through that knowledge, not through my knowledge here in this physical vessel, but it was coming through this physical vessel, if that makes sense. So this space is kind of open to play with because you're receiving all of that information from other aspects of you that's going to guide you into where you need to go or what you need to integrate within you or activate within you or whatever it is that's opening for you. Follow it because it's taking you into a certain space for a reason. They're saying the biggest thing when it comes to working with alchemy and earth magic is your intention. So again, this is a very energetic space. It's the non-physical space and realm that we're working with when it comes to alchemy and earth magic. You have to get into a space of make-believe. You have to get into a space of faith first, the non-physical, in order to then physically manifest it, because everything in physical manifestation is just a realization, a physical realization of what came before in the non-physical energetic space. So that's the space that we're shifting, turning, transforming, transmuting, playing with, utilizing magic in order to then have it physically manifest. And so that first has to happen through your intentions and through your thought forms. And that's why it's important at this time of nourishment and nurturing in your cocoon state to really play with your intentions and thought forms in order to shift the energy so that you can begin manifesting, or so that when that cocoon opens, the physical manifestations are already there. It will greet you, basically. I'm sort of asking, in what ways can we play with intention or play with this alchemy and earth magic? And what's coming forth is sort of like the greater picture is for physical healing. It's for a physical and non-physical harmonic alignment, for balance. That's what the ultimate goal is. So that when you emerge from the cocoon, you are in balance. You're in complete harmony in terms of physical and non-physical. Because in 3D, we spoke about this in a past video series, 3D is very much physical and non-physical soul aspect or energy is not in alignment. It's not on the same page. It's very far apart. moving into 5D, it's on the same page. You're on the same page in terms of physical and non-physical. You are completely aligned and in balance, meaning that your non-physical desires from your divine inner being is fully expressed and realized through you. It's not separate. It's not far apart. You are merged as one. You co-create together. But we are in that transformation stage into becoming that wholeness within. And so when that wholeness within activates, then you're going to begin realizing the physical manifestations, meaning physical healing, physical shifts and changes and all of that stuff. But first, what we need to work with is energy. We have to first work through the intentions, and that's that alchemy, earth magic space. So although we are intending for all the physical shifts and changes and healing, it first is within that energetic, emotional, thought-based realm, which is about shifting thoughts first, which then shifts energy, which then shifts physical. So when it comes to your physical form, you know, all of that emotional baggage that comes up, all of those lower vibrational thought forms that comes up, all of the basically whatever is coming up for you at this moment, if it doesn't serve you, it's coming up because it desires to have an opportunity to move through you in your awareness, for you to transform and alchemize essentially from 3D into 5D. There's so much here that's showing me in terms of how to shift and how to play with this energetic realm. And you can play with it in your physical experiences as well, meaning they're kind of showing me a sunset or a sunrise, and how you can play with your physical in connection to, you know, really this energy, this field of alchemy and earth magic. So it's like showing me sort of like a person watching a sunset or a sunrise, and through their intention, seeing this sunset and sunrise, and kind of co-creating with Earth Gaia in a way of, you know, for example, if it's a sunset, making your intentions to release whatever is within you. Maybe something's coming up for you at that moment, to have the sunset take whatever energy and transmute it for you through the sunset. As the sun sets, it's going to be released from you. Or say you're watching a sunrise and something's coming up for you, and allow for the sun to help transmute through your intentions whatever's coming up for you. As the sun gets brighter and brighter, then it helps to open up more light within you. It's just like these playful things that you can do with your surroundings, should you choose to play with your surroundings, or you can completely do this on an internal scale within you and your intentions and your thought forms. But there's so many things that you can play with right now, that in your ability to make those intentions and play make-believe and work and co-create with things, then it's going to shift and change those things within you on an energetic level in order to physically shift into what you desire it to be. Even, for example, going back to what I'm working with the earth oils, when I'm in the space of bringing forward that intuitive information and working with different oils and how many drops and stuff like that, it's not about the different oils, and it's not, you know, it of course it is, and it goes so far, but really what creates that magic potion-esque energy, what creates that more divine energy that swirls, it's like there's a portal, there's a vortex swirling within each thing that is created, is because of my intention that goes into each thing that I'm creating, each of the different blends that I'm creating. There's an intention, there's thought forms of greater transformation, shifts, changes that go into it, that create the alchemy energy to shift the blend into what it's meant to do for the person in using it. So there's so many different ways that you can play with your intention to shift energy of the field that you're playing in, which is then going to queue up for you as it physically manifests. And that's what needed to come through in today's video. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Thank you for your support. If you're interested in these earth oil blends that I'm working on, be sure to sign up for my email newsletter. I'll put the link below because I'll announce it there first. And I'm only going to be doing a very small batch at first and kind of test out the waters and see how it does. But I'm probably going to open up pre-orders sometime this month, within the next couple of weeks or week or so, I hope, and get it out in time for early December. But be sure to sign up for the newsletter list. Thank you again, everyone, for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Together with you in oneness, I am Jessica Delmar. Oneness and love be with you.